Welcome boys and girls to this WARNO update video where we talk about the Oudinot update that just came out last Friday. So in this update we're going to talk about the big changes, some of the new units, the two new divisions that you get, and some of the other smaller changes that they just came out with. Let's get into it. So if you look at the update, there are some notes here. This is going to talk about the two new divisions. So Oudinot's two new divisions are focused on the fictional Battle of Berlin in 1989, NATO's Berlin Command, and Warsaw Pact's Zentrum divisions. So we're going to read about these multinational divisions. These divisions are going to have multiple different nations in them. So they'll have, for the NATO, they'll have the British, the French, and the US combined in one division. And then for the Warsaw Pact, they'll have the German and the Russian divisions combined together to form a multinational division. So that's pretty cool. They have new tutorials for basic infantry tactics and how to use seaplanes. That's pretty important because a lot of people don't know how to use seaplanes especially. But even for the infantry tactics, that's pretty good. A new map, Rock, an 83-kilometer battlefield, playable in 3 versus 3 with lots of verticality in its environments. That's pretty good. A new 2 versus 2 vision of the Loop map, the Black Forest map Rework. And this map Rework, what they did is they removed some of the forest to make it more of an open battlefield and make it more of a balanced map. So that was really good that they did that. New destruction mode variant for all the other maps like Mount River, Vertigo, Danger Hills, Triple Strike, Death Row, Cyrus, Volcano, Iron Waters, Chemical, Giza, and Crown. New units trait system. And what this does is it basically gives units more uniqueness to themselves. Units are going to have different traits, and that's going to be pretty good in terms of differentiating different tanks and different units. New amphibious ability for certain land vehicles. That's good just because it's historically accurate and it gives people more options on how they move their infantry fighting vehicles around. New destruction textures. That's always a good thing. Major combat system rework, increasing the importance of suppression. I don't know about the suppression importance just because suppression is already pretty important right now. So if you suppress an enemy, it's very easy to actually just wipe them out. So I don't know how good that is, but nonetheless, it's not a bad thing either. New hit points suppression UI display. This is really good just because it actually shows you what the hit points and where your units are within suppression. So that's pretty good. Command unit overhaul. After capturing a command zone, command units are no longer required to stay inside of the control zone. That's really good as well, just because you can have a single command unit just walk through all the zones instead of having one hold it. You know, it's kind of a waste of time to have command units, multiple command units, when you don't really need to. There's some things that they're going to add later, but for now, let's go on to some of the reworks. So 3rd Armored Division rework. With the introduction of the new unit trait system, we decided that the American 3rd Armored Division should focus more on the new IFV infantry trait. This trait gives mechanized infantry fire teams transportable by infantry fighter vehicles a so-called shield against suppression when dismounted and firing near an infantry fighter vehicle. Pretty good. First off, a new command unit will be featured by the Spearhead Division in-game. M2A2 Bradley CP found in the Logistics tab. Though not a transport vehicle, the vehicle still grants the IFV infantry bonus to infantry fighter vehicles. So that's pretty good that your IFVs are going to give a bonus to the infantry. You know, it's good. Basically, using combined arms is going to help you to incorporate that in your army. Furthermore, we added Fireteam AT4 units to the 3rd Armored Division's arsenal. On top of this, the all Fireteam units AT4 Law and Dragon will be available with 3 cards each. On the other hand, the mechanized rifle units are reduced to 1 card only. So they're changing the cards. In my opinion, for most units, they need to add way more cards than they have right now. So to do like a throwback to war game, because you want to build the armies that you want to build. You don't want to be restricted by division. So I wish they would just add way more cards, and then for the higher level units, add less cards. But it seems like they're trying to balance it by adding, less cards of certain units. So I wish they would stop that, but nonetheless, it's going to keep going. Lastly, mechanized rifles LDR units are replaced by the smaller Fireteam LDR units, riding in the battle in a Bradley and featuring the IFV infantry trait. So, that's pretty cool. New unit traits detailed. So we have already taken out the new unit traits to a certain extent, but we can now share the full list with you. This includes in-game descriptions, effects, and brief explanations of our intentions with each trait. So for reservists, this unit is made of part-time soldiers, such as hastily called up reservists, former police, or militia. While not cowards, with less training and older equipment, they should be considered second-rate troops. Reservists units take more suppression in combat, so that's pretty standard. Trait will be given to non-military police forces such as BGS Reserve, Volposts, as well as Helmet Schutzen, KDA Reserves. British Territorials are not included as historically they lean closer to be active reserves. They will remain veterancy locked, however. The leader, the headquarter units features commanders and critical command and control equipment, including radio and other communication devices. This allows for more effective tactical leadership on the battlefield. Leadership units grant 1+1 veterancy to all nearby units. Leaders, I'm kind of stuck on because leaders make it more arcadey, right? Just the fact that you have an officer in the area is just going to increase your veterancy. I wish they would actually just take these units out of the game because they're sort of a hindrance and a distraction. Because in real life, officers are going to be they can be in a regular tank, they can be in certain communications vehicles, but in real life, just because an officer shows up doesn't really mean that units automatically perform better. So that's, not that I'm advocating for realism, but that's kind of a waste of time, to be honest, for these leadership traits. By default, granted to all command units and vehicles, this trait can be found with infantry and other units such as tanks, APCs, IFVs, or helicopters. The Resolute trait. This unit is composed of soldiers who are highly motivated, well-drilled, or politically indoctrinated. Going into battle with plenty of enthusiasm, these eager troops will endure even the hardest battlefield conditions in stride. And basically, the units just take less suppression in combat. This is going to be introduced to East German troops and for many Warsaw Pact forces. I'm not going to read all that, but if you want to go back, you can read it. A military police trait. This unit features the off-the-tested military police. As law enforcement, they ensure order behind the lines and instill harsh discipline within the Army's ranks. So they grant the suppression regeneration bonus and remove any reservist trait of nearby units. So that's, I guess, somewhat realistic for the Warsaw Pact. IFV infantry, we talked about that trait. Let's keep going. GSR, this recon unit is equipped with a portable ground surveillance radar detecting targets beyond physical range. Once deployed, it needs to remain stationary to function. GSR units receive a 1+ optics level. That one's kind of a waste of time. Shock. So shock units inflict more suppression when fighting at close combat ranges, including woods and urban territory. So that's going to be pretty useful as well. And that's just pretty good to have to just delineate what's a regular troop, what's a shock troop. So I like that a lot. Airborne traits. Airborne units can deploy further ahead using forward deployment, but only during the initial deployment phase. That's pretty good as well. Recon units can deploy further ahead, but only during the initial deployment phase. So recon and airborne seem like the same trait, but again, it's good to have the trait. Security. So security units increase their optics and identification levels to good when not moving. Similar to recon units, although they remain classified as infantry. That's kind of a waste of time, but that's fine. Amphibious vehicles can obviously cross water at 1/3 of their regular speed. Transport, self-explanatory. Sniper units gaining 1+1 stealth level when not moving. That's good. And basically, those are all the traits. So they added the traits. We have a couple new maps, some map reworks, and then we have, and more importantly, the 2 new divisions. They also have the BM-21 Napalm that they have for the Warsaw Pact, and they have a couple other new units, which let me see if they show them. They don't really show them in this exact update, but they did add those units in, so they're going to be great. And just in terms of using it, just in terms of using those specialized units, so a very nice update to have. It does fix some of the issues that we've seen before, and just very handy, just for this update. So for more of these WARNO videos on patch notes and updates, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.